Yo, this is Wales in the movies. Now, people in the TV and film industry often refer to the Doctor Who effect. This is a reference to the increase in productions made in Wales since the BBC decision back in 2003 to make our capital city the headquarters for their revamped flagship series. And although there's definitely been an increase in genre TV made in Wales since, in truth, the country has always been a popular location for TV and film, particularly of this genre. There are many deeper and more critical videos to be made on this channel about that topic. For now, we're going to focus on Welsh locations for big budget Hollywood. In this video, we'll try also to give some practical information about how to find these places and what you may need when you get there. So let's dive right in, no particular order, and first up is this bad boy.
The skies up above me.
Bore da, hello, how do you say windy in Cymraeg? This is Llyn Fach on the outskirts of the Brecon Beacons in Carmarthenshire. Not only a shooting location for King Arthur from 2004, but also one of the many reputed birthplaces, if you can call it that, of the legendary Lady of the Lake.
Yes, so there are two Llyn worth noting, Llyn Fach and Llyn Fawr, but luckily they're more or less in the same spot. You need to head for the village of Llandysant and just type that into your sat-nav, and this should direct you to this car park here behind me, which is open for 24 hours and totally free. About 20 minutes walk away from the car park is this rescue shelter here, which, depending on your group numbers and your behaviour, you should be able to camp out in with little or no objection. You can do the whole circuit of Llyn and see both lakes, I'd say in about 6 hours, depending on how many breaks you want to take and your fitness levels, and of course which route or routes you decide to take. Now, when it comes to the location itself, it was used in King Arthur from 2004 and also Stardust a couple of years later. Some of the higher terrain here provides awesome sunsets and pretty epic views. Both lakes themselves are just gorgeous, whether you're standing above or right next to them, and it's well worth a day hiking.
There we have it. Brethren. Llyn Fawr.
It may also be worth checking the forecast, not only for sunlight, but for wind. Check this out. On a practical note, if you're coming here from anywhere east of the English border, you know, like Mordor or somewhere, it's worth mentioning that you pass the Roman fort at Caerleon, which has got firm connections to the Arthurian legend. Worth noting as the tiniest of detours off the M4, very much worth a visit too. So it's a bit silly not to stop by these yards on your way to Llyn. Take the exit at junction 24 from London or Cardiff. Follow the signs to Llangadog or Llandysant. Eventually you'll see this sign. Follow the arrows. Bob's your uncle.
If such people ever existed, and such times ever existed, and if the Lady of the Lake existed, you know, standing here at Llyn Fawr, you can kind of believe it.
For you.
This is Merthyr Mawr Nature Reserve on the south coast, about halfway between our two biggest cities, Swansea and Cardiff. Do not assume that Merthyr Mawr is anywhere near Merthyr Tydfil, which is about 50 miles away and in the valleys, so be careful what you type into your sat-nav. If you're coming from an easterly direction, you can follow the M4 all the way from Llandinium until you reach junction 35, which will take you onto a big roundabout called the Pencoed Interchange outside Bridgend. This doubles as the Arabian Peninsula for David Lean's epic Lawrence of Arabia back in 1963. It's pretty much impossible to nail down any particular spot where the filming took place. My guess is maybe these shots here may well be what we're looking at. Because, of course, that's the whole point about filming in Wales. We can make it look like anywhere. The sand dunes here, pretty vast. If you come here with kids, bring a sledge or a snowboard or something they can use to ride the dunes. It's worth mentioning while you're here, a lot of tourists, whether they be British or overseas, come to the south and often miss out this part of the coast in between Newport and Pembrokeshire, as its reputation is mainly of an industrial place. But in reality, between Cardiff and Swansea, there's a pretty vast stretch of interesting and often unexplored coastline, if that's your thing. Other close places of reference often used for film and TV near here are Ogmore, Southern Down and Dunraven Bay. They're just a few miles down the road, well worth a visit. One last thing, make sure you pay for a parking ticket at the car park at Merthyr Mawr, because the company that run it are absolute sharks. Llyn Gwynant is pretty much a reference point for the whole of Snowdonia. It's a regular choice of location for Arthurian adaptations, and when you get up close to it, you can see and feel why. The whole area of Snowdonia, to be fair, has a low-key beauty, which I think is representative of the way the Welsh landscape differs from the more vast vistas of Scotland, for example. You can see this lake in First Night, 1995, the TV series Merlin, and most recently King Arthur Legend of the Sword, which shot many scenes right in the banks of the stream here next to the local campsite, which is called Llyn Gwynant Campsite. This place, I can recommend the staff here, I can recommend the location. It's well worth staying a night or two and using it as your base to explore Snowdonia. And on a spring, a summer or autumn evening, this is a totally satisfying place to stay, rich in folklore, natural beauty. I can't recommend it highly enough. If you're into your Welsh pursuits, as some of you are, Mark Evans' film Patagonia was also shot here. Beautiful little movie with a genuine Welsh setting and story which is long overdue a review on this channel. If you're coming from the south, you should aim for the town of Beddgelert, which can also be used as a base. If coming from across the border to the south, you'll need to pass through the English Midlands and towns such as Shrewsbury, or if you're coming from Liverpool or Manchester, head somewhere near Chester.
Double whammy here. This was location for Ridley Scott's Robin Hood back in 2010. But also Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, and that was filmed up there on the sand dunes. It's a pretty ethereal spot, this. It's Freshwater West, not to be confused with Freshwater East on the southwest coast of Wales in Pembrokeshire, not far from the city of Pembroke. So you've got Freshwater East and Freshwater West. This is Freshwater West, where thanks to the magic of the movies, those nasty Frenchies when they're invading good old England, as the film is keen to point out, are approaching the White Cliffs of Dover, about 130 miles away. And then within a nanosecond, they shore up here at Freshwater West, where, Russell Crowe kills Mark Strong and Kate Blanchett gets her swords out and stuff like that. This is one of my favourite spots in Wales, very popular with surfers. There is a power station up the road, unfortunately, which you've got to drive past to get here. But once you've compartmentalised that, you really should come and check out this beach, particularly if, like me, you're very lucky and you get a gorgeous, crisp, approaching spring day here in late March 2022. Freshwater West, come and get involved. Absolutely beautiful.
Why do we fall, Master Wayne?
This one doesn't need any introduction, does it? The Welsh Bat Cave.
So I am now standing behind, which is the coolest thing about it, Sgwd Henryd, or in English, Henryd Falls.
Henryd Falls is only a short drive away from a whole bunch of gorgeous waterfalls which could be said to be more aesthetically pleasing. But none of them are the Bat Cave, and you need to be pretty smart on your feet to get to all of them, involving about a 2 to 4 hour walk depending on how many you want to see.
This one is much more accessible. It's a 15-minute walk away from the car park at Coilbren.
And like I say, one of the best things about Sgwd Henryd is that you can walk behind it and chill out for a wee bit. If you want to have a little bit of cutchy time with your missus, or like this guy, if you just want to, have a vape. In truth, you could make a whole bunch of these videos based on different criteria. But if you like your Wales in the movies a bit more critical and a bit more cynical, keep your eye out on the channel for a video called Wales Doesn't Play Itself, which, as I say, will be taking a deeper analysis of the use of Welsh landscape in Hollywood films. For now, this is Wales in the movies. If you feel this message, you know what to do. Diolch. Ta-ra.